What's up guys, how's it going? Hope you're all doing good. So I have a collection update for you, not a bunch of stuff. Today's soundtrack, Deteriorate, Rotting in Hell, originally put out on JL America, I think. This is the 2-disc edition put out through Dark Symphony / The Crypt. CD1 is just the album and CD2 is just the demos. CD2. I don't remember where these guys are from. I think Midwest, like Ohio or something, but it doesn't really have that sound to me. It's slightly, I would say, more thrashy than those sounds. When I think of those sounds, I think of stuff like stuff more mid-paced and kind of chunky, like Gutted, but this is kind of thrashy and almost more tinny sounding. But this record's solid, but I kind of wish it had a better drum sound, because after a while the kick drum gets kind of annoying, because it's just like someone hitting a spoon against a table. It's okay, it's kind of like, I wish it was beefier, but yeah. Fun record. I know after this they became a black metal band, so that's cool, I guess, but yeah. Good thrashy death metal from the early 90s. Alrighty, so no tapes today. I only got a few CDs and a few records. This might be kind of short, but oh well. Alright, first up, I got the first 2022 release I've picked up. Voïvod, Synchro, Anarchy. I really liked The Wake, but honestly I think this is their best record since... what's his name? Since Chewy joined. I think this is their strongest record since, like, what's the one? The one with Jason Newsted I really like. Yeah, Couture's. I think this is their best record since Couture's, maybe even farther back, but stylistically I think this has like a little bit harking back to some of the early stuff. Not like their first two, but I would say like in between Dimension, Hatros, and Nothing Face, but it has a little bit of the thrashy sound that you'd hear in the first two, but it's still like kind of proggy and weird sounding, which of this stuff with Chewy, I think this is definitely their weirdest, most experimental. There were definitely a lot of very odd parts, but it sounds like Voïvod, and Voïvod most of the time are great. There's only like 2 records by Voïvod I'm not a fan of. The rest of the stuff ranges from good to fantastic. I wanted the LP, but Century Media, the shipping's pretty expensive. I got this in my local shop. They didn't have the LP in stock yet, so I just said fuck it, bought the CD. Cool artwork, obviously done by Away. I'm assuming, because he handles all their art and stuff. Favorite songs on this one: the title track and Holographic Thinking. And man, Voïvod are a great band. Definitely looking. It'd be cool if they did another tour, because I've never seen Voïvod, and I knew who they were for a few years, but I didn't bother checking them out till 2020. So this was the first new Voïvod record once I became a fan of the band. So that's sweet. Voïvod, Synchro, Anarchy, definitely one of their best records in a while. Okay, next CD is from a band I wasn't familiar with, but I'll explain in a second. So we got Koroidia, Wrath, Abomination. So Matt from the Dark Path posted this on Instagram a while ago, and his description sounded interesting, so I blind bought it. It was cheap on Bandcamp, so I figured if it's bad, then oh well, I didn't spend too much, but if it's great, then I got a good deal, so luckily I like it a lot. These guys are from Florida, and I think they only have 2 releases so far. Yeah, they formed in 2013, so their first EP from 2015. They did another EP in 2016, so I mean, it's been 6 years since their last release. Another release would be cool, but I'm not sure what will happen at this point. It says they're still active though, so maybe they're working on an album, but I'm not entirely sure. So these guys to me sound like a more evil and slightly more doomy version of Immolation, and a lot less technical than Immolation, but on the more like sinister and evil side, and a little bit of early deicide in their sound too, and select moments of incantation maybe in the doomy parts. But you know what, fuck it, here's a sound clip, enjoy. Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? So, good band. A full length would be awesome, but considering it's been 6 years and we haven't even gotten a new EP yet, I won't hold my breath for that. So yeah, if you want something like Immolation, Deicide, Incantation, but more evil sounding than Immolation, check it out. Koroidia, Wrath, Abomination. And this came with some cool stickers too. Alright, here's a couple classics I didn't own. Figured I should finally pick these up. They were cheap. Danzig, self-titled. I'm not super familiar with his solo stuff. I'm a big Misfits fan. Well, with him, I don't like any of the stuff with What's His Nuts singing. Those albums are kind of terrible. This is just, if you know the Misfits, those is like a complete 180. So hearing this and the Misfits at the same time must have been kind of confusing. You'd be like, wait, it's the same guy. Obviously, the Misfits are mostly like a pretty fast punk band, and this is like kind of like mid-paced bluesy metal. There's Glenn, and they have changed members a lot, so I guess that's kind of hard to stay consistent with your sound. But their first, I think I've only heard their first 3 records. They're solid, but and then what was it? Danzig 5 when they made a god-awful industrial record. No, just no, but. This is my favorite of all I've heard so far, but like I've said, I've only heard the first 3 and part of the 5th one. Favorite songs on here, Twist of Cain, I Am Demon, and Mother. But this whole record's awesome. So if you just want some good like mid-paced kind of bluesy traditional metal with a little bit of doom metal influence, this is a good record. Danzig 1, they put this thing gets repressed a bunch. I don't know what year this pressing is from, but this came out in 1988 originally. This is a Columbia America repress, so yeah. Danzig self-titled, and I mentioned these guys in my last video, so kind of fitting I got this recently. Yes, I didn't get this until like a week ago. That's kind of bad on my part, but honestly, it's records like these, you know they're always going to be available, so you don't really have to worry to actually find a copy. You know you can get it anytime when you actually want to get a copy. But I mean, this was like $4, and it's definitely obviously worth that. His best record, at least solo-wise, though, I still prefer his first 2 albums with Black Sabbath to this, but it's still a fun record, though. Highlights on this, Stand Up and Shout. Holy Diver, it's good, but it's kind of like Run to the Hills by Maiden or The Trooper. It's kind of overplayed. I don't really need to hear the song ever again, but it's still a good song. And then Caught in the Middle, Don't Talk to Strangers, and Rainbow in the Dark, which apparently Dio didn't like Rainbow in the Dark, but that's honestly one of my favorite songs by him. I'm not sure why he didn't like it, but. And apparently if you hold the thing upside down, it says Devil, which may be like D-E-V-I-L, kind of. You determine for yourself. So yeah. Great record. I'll get the rest of the Dio eventually. I still need to get Last in Line and then a couple of the other ones, but I'll see if I get them cheap. Honestly, that's one of the bands where if I see the record like at a store, I'll pick it up, but I never online. But oh yeah, I need to get some Dio, but I'm not sure why. There's a few bands. Another band I'm gonna show in a minute. I kind of like that too. So I mentioned this band. I think I showed their first 2 albums in my last collection update, and I picked up this one. Kind of changing style, but I still prefer the first 2, but this record's awesome also, despite the change in sounds. This is Ant Oceans with A.M.G.O.D. So these guys are a Finnish black metal band. The first 2 records are more on the symphonic side. This is kind of like slightly more industrial sounding, but not annoying industrial, because with industrial, most of that stuff is over my head, but this is actually good, because to me, the industrial parts just sound like slightly more electronic sounding keyboards than actual like full-on like robot music. But and I think, what was it, the 5th album that came out in 2020 is a return to the first 2, but the album after this, no, avoid that record like the plague. They actually had a copy of that on vinyl at my local shop. When I bought this, I'm like, no, it was like $20, and for that record that's like 1950 too much. But I've seen some people say it's kind of like outdated, but maybe because of like very 2000s looking album cover. But maybe, well, obviously I was listening to fucking black metal in 2000. I was only 2 years old, so I can't speak on that. Maybe if I was listening to black metal back then, I could say it sounds kind of outdated, but I didn't have that frame of reference, so that's just me. But anyway, There's the front. Very kind of odd album cover, very 2000s looking. Then the back, track listing. This whole record's good except the last song. It's a purely industrial song, which, no. Gatefold. Just comes with an insert. Yeah, comes with a little booklet. And I believe this was the first time it's ever been put on vinyl. I think it was CD only until this year. No, last year, 2021 season of Miss, so I think this is the first time it's ever been pressed to vinyl. So if you want to check out A.M.G.O.D, I still suggest the second record, Symmetry of Eyes, Circle of O. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite by them, but their first three records are solid, and their last record, just avoid the fourth at all costs. That record's terrible, but yeah. Great band, at least their first three and the last one, but And Oceans, I still prefer the style of the first two, but this is still a good record despite the change in sound. Yeah, check it out. A.M.G.O.D. And the record just black, so I didn't bother pulling that up, so. Okay, this next record is from a band where this era of this band is kind of divisive. Some people either hate it or they love it. I am on the love it camp. That's obviously why I bought the record, but this Enslaved with the RIITIIR. So when it comes to Enslaved, I'm one of the people, I celebrate their entire discography. I'm on a mission to get all of their shit on vinyl. I know it's going to be kind of expensive and it's going to take a while, but I think I'm about like halfway there. I think I have, including this one now, everything up through, I have everything up through Blood Hymn. Then I have Below the Lights. This one, In Times. Is it In Times? Yeah, In Times. So I don't have the newest one yet, but this is their fourth most recent because it came before In Times, and then after this, well, after In Times was, I think, E, and then their newest one, which obviously, if you know Enslaved, you know they've gotten more progressive with each record, which I don't really mind it because they still keep it interesting. It's not like super frou-frou and pretentious progressive. It's still like extreme and black metal that they've gotten, like, honestly, as much as I like the early stuff, I think lately I've come to appreciate the more proggy stuff more than the early stuff because they, I think, definitely like got their own sounds. They progressed later on, just didn't stay like another just typical band in the scene, but oh well, that's just me. So anyway, there's the front. Not very cool artwork, but oh well. There's the back. Track listing. Put out through Nuclear Blast, who they've been signed to for a while now. And it was funny because I bought this on eBay, but it was like a bid. And I didn't even know I won because I think I have my eBay set up where if you do a bid and you win, it automatically takes the money out of your account. So I didn't get the notification that I won. I checked my mailbox or my front step and there was a record there and it was this. So kind of funny that I won. I didn't even know, but oh well. Inner sheet, just the lyrics. Nice double LP, like bone white. They call this, I think, the bone white with like ash or charcoal splatter. When it comes to stuff from the 2010s, my favorite is definitely In Times, but when it comes to their like post Blood Hymn material, my favorite is definitely Below the Lights. But honestly, you can't go wrong with Enslaved. They've never come close to putting out a bad record, at least for me. So yeah, great band, and honestly I think they've probably become my favorite black metal band. Honestly, which I usually say Bathory is my favorite, but Bathory, you know, Octagon exists, so I think these guys are dethroned Bathory because they don't have a bad record. So yeah, Enslaved, great band. If you like the progressive stuff, then you know this is a good one. But if you don't, then I still suggest check it out. But that's just me. This I've had for a while, but I haven't really talked about this yet, so I figured it'd be appropriate to show it because why not? Havok-Time Is Up. So when it comes to modern thrash, most modern thrash I think is kind of garbage, but this is definitely one of the better thrash records. I'm not going to say bands because after this, not really that good. And I don't really like their debut either, but this record is definitely by far their best, which honestly I haven't really given the record from 2020 much of a chance because the one from 2017, I honestly could have included that in my like changing opinions album because when that first came out I liked it a lot, but the more I listened to it, the less and less I liked it. This good like kind of old school sounding modern thrash, maybe compared to like early Exodus mixed with early Kreator. Probably like Extreme Aggression era, say mixed with Bonded by Blood and a little bit of early Metallica, and slightly in the riffing a little bit of Death, like later era kind of. But anyway, these guys were actually the first band I ever saw live at my first metal show. It was them, Children of Bodom's Suicidal Tendencies, and Megadeth, back when I actually used to, you know, care about Megadeth. But they were good, but Suicidal Tendencies, honestly, they blew everybody out of the water. They were fantastic, and honestly, Megadeth should have just stayed backstage. But anyway, front, cool album artwork. Back, track listing put out through Candlelight. I think they were signed to Synchro Media. Guys in the band, I think the bass player is the only one that left. They've had new bass players for a while, but I think they still have all the 3 guys in the band still. Cool, like brown and blue merged with a little bit of black in there. I'll let to get the EP they did in, I think, 2012 to 2011. They have a EP, I think it's 3 songs, and they covered a Sepultura song. I know they covered a Rise and something else. Was it a Death song? I feel like they covered a Death song, but I can't remember which one. I'll put it in the picture if they did, but yeah. Check out a song on this one, I say. Check out Prepare for Attack, DOA, Killing Tendencies, and Scumbag in Disguise. Again, when it comes to modern thrash, there's like probably only like a couple bands I care about, but it's definitely one of the better records from the newer scene. So yeah, check it out. Havok-Time Is Up. Not very original, but still a fun record. Okay, here's another band I mentioned. I think in my last death metal collection video, I said, "Oh, I want to get some more of this band stuff." And the next day, they literally had this, so I guess good timing. Nile in the Darkened Shrines from 2002. Put out through Relapse, and this is their last record without George Colis behind the kit. I know he would join, I think, after this record. Yeah, Annihilation of the Wicked was his first. Yeah, I don't remember who the drummer was on this one, but it's kind of weird that this is the record that a bunch of people that are not Nile fans, but they all like this record, and I can kind of see why, but kind of weird considering of all the records, I think this has like the least amount of actual music, or the least amount of actual death metal, and a lot of the songs are just like purely like ambient Egyptian kind of stuff, where they have like the typical Egyptian instrumentation and a lot of instrumental songs in here. But favorite songs that aren't that, I know Sarcophagus is on this one, and Enslaved of the Gods. What's the other popular one? And Excavation Text are definitely my 3 favorites, but not my favorite by Nile. When it comes to Nile, Epiphalic is my favorite, but this is definitely one of the better ones. So anyway, there's the front, cool snake. There's the back. I've always been really interested in Egyptian mythology, so I've been really wanting to go to Egypt for a while just to see some of the old ancient ruins and stuff. So Nile, honestly, one of the few bands that actually read the lyrics, because 98% of the time I couldn't care less about lyrics, to be honest. Maybe if I was a singer I would care, but I'm a guitarist, so I don't care, honestly. But both the same. I just want to show you the labels. So as a into sheet, I'll pull out in a second. So this is the 2015 Relapse reissue. In a sheet. So again, not my favorite by Nile, but if you don't know any of this stuff, I suggest check out Epiphalic or Annihilation of the Wicked, but this is definitely not a bad place to start. Nile in the Darkened Shrines, not the best, but still a fun record. Alright, 3 more, then we're done. So this is a 2021 release I was late to the party on, but I finally got a copy from Nuclear War Now, I think, had a copy. Yeah, they had a copy of this and the next record I'm going to show. Archgoat, Worship the Eternal Darkness. So I know you could say, oh, if you have one Archgoat record, you have them all, which You could argue that, but this record I think is like more different than the early stuff because they definitely incorporated some more elements into the sound. Because I think on this record, to my ears, they have like a little bit more thrash metal and even a little bit of traditional heavy metal leaning going into the songwriting. Obviously not vocal wise, but some of the riffs there were parts where it's kind of like a Iron Maiden breakdown part with just like simple chugging. It's like little like Maiden melody part. It's kind of, you wouldn't think it would work on the Archgoat record, but kind of gives it a cool, unique sound. They never really play with that sound in any of the previous records. Fuck. I haven't spent a long time with this record yet, so I can't comment if it's my favorite by them, but so far I still think I prefer the Luciferian Crown. I think is still my favorite by them, but it's definitely, I think they're one of their more unique sounding records. So anyway, front, cool artwork. Back, dudes in the band. They were supposed to play Maryland Death Fest, but they canceled for, I think, obvious reasons. So I think they're going to do a US tour, but some places still aren't so sure about COVID, so they didn't want to risk coming to the States if they knew they couldn't finish their tour, because that's not really worth it to play a few shows, because flying to the States would be expensive. Cool poster. Little booklet. What is it? Yeah, it's it. This has the lyrics and stuff. No, there was a download code. Let me find it. Come on, fucker. Oh wait, here we go. Alrighty. Go ahead and use that. I don't use download codes, so if you want that, come on, focus, you bastard. Alright, there you go. There's that. So man, if you're new to Archgoat, this might not be a bad place to start if you want one of the more unique sounding records. I still say the Luciferian Crown is my favorite, but this is still a fun record. Archgoat Worship the Eternal Darkness. Put out through Debu Murti, I think. Yeah, Debu Murti. Alright, I had this record pulled out for one of my like underrated black metal video I did last time. I compared this record to something else, but I didn't really talk about this album itself actually. This is the Cosmic Church with Täyttymys. I think it doesn't say who put this out, does it? No, but these guys are a atmospheric black metal band from Finland, which honestly I'm not really a big fan of their early material, but this record is definitely their best record by far, honestly. This type of black metal, it has the perfect sounding production for this type of black metal. It's like kind of not really raw, but like well produced, but still sounds human sounding. And the vocals, they're kind of like in the distance. They're not like up front like you would hear in a thrash or death metal record. But for the style of black metal, I think having vocals more in the background definitely fits the music better than having vocals like up front and in your face, because it sounds like more like actually like distant sounding. But I think they only had 3 full lengths, and apparently I'm not sure why this guy quit after only 3 albums, but it would have been cool to see them get back together and put out another record, but oh well. And there's some slight keyboards on this, but not like totally up front. Again, like the vocals, they're more in the distance. You can kind of hear them, but if you're not paying attention, sometimes you can't hear them. If you're focusing, you can definitely hear them. So anyway, there's the front, there's the back. And this got put out in 2018. I don't think there was a vinyl press till 2019. I remember a few people were showing this on CD when it came out, and then everyone was showing the record when it came out. Nice little booklet. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Black, simple labels. So if you want some good atmospheric black metal with a little bit of cool sounding synth work, this is definitely one of my favorite black metal records of the last few years, which I've considered doing like a favorite black metal album's video of the 2010s, but I don't know, maybe someday we'll see. So if that sounds like a cool video to do, let me know and I'll do it. But this will definitely be on the list, so yeah. Check it out, Cosmic Church, Täyttymys. If you have to get one record by them, make it this one. Alrighty, this is a classic record, so I'm not really talking that much time speaking about it, but I'm filling in the holes in my Motorhead collection, so I got Orgasmatron. Not one of my favorite by them, but honestly it's because of the production. There's some good songs in here, but honestly, Lemmy's vocals are the problem. Like, they sound good, but for some reason they decided to put a bunch of reverb on his vocals, so it sounds like he's like down the bottom of a tunnel, and he said, "Oh, I record your vocals, you're good." I don't know why they decided to add that much reverb to his vocals. He still sounds great though, but it's kind of weird and echoey sounding. But besides that, there's still some good songs though, like Mean Machine's obviously on this one, Riding with the Driver, the title track, that's Sepultura covered, Ain't My Crime, Dead Forever, or Death Forever rather, but anyway, there's the front. I think this came out in 86, yeah, 86 originally, so the same year Sepultura put out Morbid Visions on the back, but they didn't cover this till Arise though, not like that matters at all. Inner sheet, very nice. It's black. Yeah, it's black, simple labels. Not my favorite Motorhead of the early stuff. My favorite is probably Overkill, but my favorites in general are honestly Sacrifice and We Are Motorhead. I know it's definitely a kind of odd pick, but oh well. Great record, kind of spoiled by some shitty vocal choices production-wise, but oh well, it's still Motorhead, so still fun. Great record, obviously. Alrighty, that's it guys. I know this was a quick one, but I didn't have a lot to show. I think it's my birthday in I think a week and a half. I know it's not this coming Friday, but the Friday after, so I'll probably treat myself to going to the record store then, and that might be I'll probably be my last update, I promise, this time before Maryland Death Fest. That's it, take care, have a good rest of your day, goodbye.